In the wake of Stephen Twitch Boss's untimely passing, the public's attention has shifted toward his widow, Allison Holker, as she prepares to release a memoir reflecting on her late husband's life and their shared experiences. Holker's upcoming book has generated a significant amount of controversy, drawing criticism from Twitch's family and fans who argue that her portrayal of his personal struggles is not only misleading but also deeply disrespectful. Holker claims that after Twitch's death in December 2022, she discovered a collection of journals and a variety of hidden substances in their home. According to her, these findings revealed a side of Twitch's life she had never known, a history of substance use and unaddressed childhood trauma. She has stated in interviews that these discoveries were both alarming and eye-opening, painting a picture of a man who carried a profound emotional burden and struggled silently with his past. However, these revelations have been met with intense skepticism from those closest to Twitch. His mother, Connie Boss Alexander, and his brother DeAndre have both spoken out against Holker's narrative, calling her claims inaccurate and accusing her of exploiting Twitch's memory to promote her book. Connie, in a heartfelt statement, expressed her distress over what she described as misleading and hurtful allegations, insisting that her son's legacy should be honored, not tarnished. She emphasized that Twitch had no substances or alcohol in his system at the time of his death, a fact confirmed by his autopsy report, which directly contradicts Holker's depiction of his struggles. Many of Twitch's loved ones have also taken issue with Holker's decision to share private details about his life. Close friends and extended family members have publicly criticized her for airing his personal matters, suggesting that her motives may be more self-serving than altruistic. Some have even alleged that Holker required them to sign non-disclosure agreements at tWitch's funeral, effectively silencing those who might challenge her version of events. These accusations have only fueled the perception that her memoir is less about raising awareness and more about controlling the narrative for personal gain. The backlash against Holker has been swift and unrelenting. Fans of Twitch, as well as members of his family, have taken to social media to express their frustration, calling her actions tacky and exploitative. They question how someone who claims to honor Twitch's legacy can simultaneously depict him in such a negative light, particularly given the lack of corroborating evidence for her claims. The controversy has also led some to speculate about the broader circumstances surrounding Twitch's death, with a few even revisiting the official narrative in light of Holker's statements. Holker, for her part, has maintained that her intention is to shed light on the challenges her husband faced and to help others who may be struggling with similar issues. She has framed her book as a means of sparking important conversations and providing a sense of hope to those dealing with addiction, trauma, and loss. Yet, this justification has done little to assuage the concerns of Twitch's supporters, who feel that the intimate details of his life should remain private, especially if he chose not to share them publicly. The debate over Holker's memoir touches on broader questions about the ethics of posthumously revealing personal struggles. When someone passes away, who has the right to tell their story, and how should it be told? In this case, many feel that Holker's approach undermines the very legacy she claims to protect. Rather than celebrating the life and achievements of a beloved husband, father, and entertainer, critics argue that her book risks reducing Twitch to a collection of struggles and unresolved issues, something he never consented to share. This controversy also speaks to the complex dynamics of family, grief, and public perception. Holker's decision to include such personal details in her memoir, while framed as an attempt to help others, has alienated much of tWitch's family. They argue that their input and experiences have been overlooked in favor of a narrative that benefits the book's promotional campaign. This perceived exclusion has caused significant tension, with Twitch's relatives openly challenging Holker's claims and refusing to remain silent despite the reported non-disclosure agreements. As Holker's critics continue to raise their voices, they bring to light a vital issue: the balance between sharing a personal story and respecting the boundaries of those who can no longer speak for themselves. While Holker may feel a personal responsibility to shed light on what she discovered after Twitch's passing, the manner and timing of her revelations have proven deeply divisive. Many of Twitch's fans see him as a symbol of joy, positivity, and resilience, a man whose vibrant personality inspired countless individuals. They argue that to reduce his memory to a narrative of unverified struggles risks overshadowing the positive impact he made on the world. Moreover, the growing skepticism about the legitimacy of Holker's claims has further complicated her efforts to present her memoir as a tool for healing and awareness. Critics point out inconsistencies in her accounts, particularly when they contrast her statements with the autopsy findings. The absence of substances in tWitch's system at the time of his death challenges the assertion that he was actively using, raising the question of whether Holker's portrayal serves a larger purpose beyond what she publicly states. The lack of transparency in how the non-disclosure agreements were reportedly handled at his funeral only deepens the public's mistrust, prompting further scrutiny of her motivations. For tWitch's family, the release of this memoir is not just a personal affront, but a broader betrayal of the values they believe he held. They see themselves as the guardians of his legacy, and to them, Holker's memoir represents an unwelcome intrusion into their collective mourning process. The book's publication may be framed as an act of courage or healing by Holker, but to those who knew and loved tWitch, it feels more like an unwanted spotlight on private pain, a spectacle that serves only to keep wounds fresh and relationships fractured. This evolving situation highlights the challenges that arise when personal narratives are shared in a public forum. The very act of putting these intimate details into print transforms private grief into a topic of public debate, inviting opinions from strangers and complicating relationships among those left behind. The criticisms leveled at Holker demonstrate how difficult it can be to control a narrative once it enters the public domain, as well as the ethical dilemmas inherent in speaking on behalf of someone who is no longer here to clarify or consent. As the release date of Holker's memoir approaches, the divide between her supporters and detractors will likely continue to widen. This moment in time, fraught with tension, grief, and disagreement, may ultimately serve as a reminder of the importance of thoughtful consideration when choosing how to honor the memory of a loved one. Whether her intentions are genuine or misguided, the controversy surrounding this book underscores a universal truth. How we choose to remember those we've lost can have lasting repercussions on the people they've left behind.